remember us. I'm Chris, and to my right,
Theresa.
And we are the Fans of the Forge.
In our living room during quarantine.
Yes, it's been a bit since we've done a video, and we decided we wanted to talk about something and put something out on the YouTube channel. So for all of those people that are subscribed to us, those 2,150 people or so, thanks for being here. We're not going to talk about Forged in Fire this time, though. So we're going to go into our new obsession. Alone.
That's also on the History Channel, right?
Yes.
Yes. So while we were watching other things on History Channel, we came across this one. Actually, I think it was all you.
Oh, I started watching this on Netflix when I heard the previous season's winner on a Rogan podcast, I think. And he was kind of talking about his experience, so I had to go and watch it. And I was like sucked in hardcore. It was just so cool watching them. So basically the premise of the show, if you don't know what this is they go out into the woods in the Arctic. They drop these people off on their own little patch of land.
Is it always the Arctic?
At least the last two seasons were. This season and then the previous season. I'll be honest, I haven't watched all the seasons yet. Maybe I'll go back. We're kind of in the middle of the most recent season right now, which is proving to be pretty intense, pretty good. So, anyway, these people, they're given a list of supplies that they can choose from, and then they're going to get dropped off in the wilderness, and they have to survive out there. And the last person standing is the winner. And the most recent season, they're going for 100 days of survival in the Arctic, and the winner gets $1 million.
That's this current season. So in the past seasons, winner-take-all situation, whereas now, if they don't make the 100 days, even if they were the last one standing, stands to reason, they don't get the $1 million.
Right. We would assume so.
They have to make it the 100 days,
I don't know if they have to make it the 100 days.
That seems to be the challenge this season.
They have to make it the 100 days
in the wild.
And then whoever is still lasting the longest at that point, if multiple people make it that far, maybe. I'll look up the rules. Maybe we'll do another video later on about this stuff. But
I'm purely watching it on TV, and it's advertised as 100 days as $1 million.
Yes. Anywho, so with all that being said, they do a great show. After the show, they even have a thing where they have the contestants call in with a host and they talk about their experiences on the show, which was kind of what we used to do for Forged in Fire, if you think about it. But we decided we'll let them have that aspect of the show and we'll just take one aspect for ourselves.
We'll let them have it.
Yeah, of course. So we decided, well, wouldn't it be interesting if we thought about what we would choose for our top 10 items to go try to survive in the Arctic? Not that we
ever do anything like this.
We don't even go camping very much at all.
Much like our forging history. When we started.
Hey, I forge things now.
You do now.
I was a Boy Scout for a while. I never made it all the way to the top, but I used to go camping and I had some survival skills and stuff like that.
I've always lived in a cabin at camp. I've never needed to
survive
outside.
So we're putting this out there with the knowledge that we are not experts at all. So, they give this giant list. I printed it out here. It's
4 pages
pages long. You can find this on the History Channel website for Alone. They have the list of everything on there. It's split into multiple groups of items. There's one section that's just clothing, apparel, personal effects, that they get a number of items they're allowed to bring that doesn't count towards their limit of 10 items that they have to choose from. And then they're given a list of all sorts of different categories of different things, and they have to choose 10 items total. Right?
Besides their clothes, correct.
Besides their clothes.
And we were going to post this on our Instagram, right?
Yes, we'll post the list on our Instagram account if you want to follow along. So, you get stuff for a shelter, for bedding, for cooking, for hygiene, hunting, food, and tools. So, an example, we're not going to read the whole list, but an example of something for, say, cooking. You get the option of a large pot, a large pan, and there's sizes, specifically no more than 2 quarts. a flint or ferro rod or a standard striker for a fire, bowl, spoon, canteen. So those are the sort of items that you're picking from. You can kind of imagine what the other options will be as we go through them. Mm-hmm. So, how do you want to do it? Do you want to choose? You want to go through your whole list of 10, or do we want to go category by category?
I think category by category.
Okay. So, first up, we have the shelter category.
They have to build a shelter to survive out in the Arctic.
Because while they're there, it's going into wintertime and the snow is falling down on them, so they have to have a more permanent shelter of some kind.
Plus animals.
Yes. So, did you choose anything for shelter?
I chose tarp and paracord.
Interesting. Okay.
Deciding that I would need something to tie my tarp down.
Okay. That's a good call. So, I also chose tarp, and now that I look at my list again, I had meant to choose a cord and write it down and then shorten my list after the fact, and I didn't put it at all. So I was thinking the paracord myself, or maybe the climbing rope.
But then you'd have to take something else off your list.
Right. Okay. I'm going to put the paracord on my list.
You're putting the paracord on your list?
I'm putting the paracord on my
list.
list.
Here's a pen.
Yeah. I'm going to get something else off the list, and I'll talk about that after. Okay. So, anything else in the shelter category?
No.
Okay. I figured the paracord is multi-useful. For tarp, I've seen them make, you use it for lashing shelter parts together. I've seen it for gill net type stuff.
I went by length. So when you look at the rolls of the ropes or the cords that you could have, I took whatever had the longest amount of rope, figuring I could use it for other things.
Yep. Good call. Good call. You get 80 meters? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. 80 meters. Next up is bedding.
Sleeping bag?
Yeah, I put sleeping bag. Yeah, you're choosing between 4 things. A multi-seasonal sleeping bag, a bivy bag, which is a Gore-Tex sleeping bag cover, a sleeping pad, and a hammock. And I can't imagine why. I mean, the hammock is a different way of sleeping, I suppose, if you can put that inside a...
I don't like to be cold, so I would want the sleeping bag.
Yeah, the sleeping bag is definitely a necessity there.
What do you use for pillows, though? Do you just pile all your clothes as a pillow?
That's what I ever did. Whenever I did camping, I never really brought a camping pillow very much. And even if you did, they were tiny and they didn't offer much in the way of support. So
pointless.
Yeah. You're better off just, if you're laying on the ground, just let your head fall where it's going to fall and lay there.
Okay.
And now my bones creak, so maybe that wasn't a good idea. Okay, so that's our bedding category. We're moving on to cooking. So right off the bat, I'm going to say flint and ferro rod is a must.
Same. Yes.
We've seen multiple people on the show so far that tried to do the friction style with
I've tried that. No, I can't.
No, not at all. We don't want that. It would just be too much of an effort. When you're out there in the cold and you're scrounging for food, because you have to hunt for food and everything and catch fish and all that, search for berries. You don't want to burn a lot of calories just
trying to light your fire to cook the food.
Yeah. So definitely the Faro stick or striker.
Yep.
And then
else? I went with the large pot with the lid.
Yep.
Versus the pan, figuring I'd rather have, even though I know it would take more heat to heat the larger pot, I'd still rather have the larger pot for more stuff and then have the lid to cover it.
Right. That's good. Soup is a very good thing to make when you're dealing with these sort of animals that you're hunting and stuff. Or like fish. You can make a fish soup that gives you some nutrition that'll last you a long time. And, you can use it for boiling water and stuff like that too. And there's a lot of good uses of it.
Plus you can use the lid like a plate. And then you don't have to bring a bowl.
That's the...
multi-purpose.
There you go. Right there. Okay, and then the last thing I had was the water bottle / canteen.
When we get to the tools, I decided I would have some kind of knife to be whittling things, and I would try to create my own cup. and not need a canteen.
Interesting.
These are grand ideas that I have.
Interesting. Okay. So that's it for cooking. We move on to the next section, which is hygiene.
I chose nothing for hygiene. Who do I need to be hygienic for?
All right, so here's what they give you. A bar of soap, a tube of toothpaste, a face flannel, I guess a washcloth, a roll of dental floss, shower soap, a shaving razor with a blade, a towel, and a comb. You're surviving in the wild. Who are you trying to look pretty for? I don't care if you're on camera. Nobody cares. Everybody watching knows you're trying to survive.
I had some stuff, and then as I was narrowing my list down for things I needed to survive, the hygiene stuff just kept getting crossed off.
Here, I'm pretty sure, like, I would read a book before I went out there on things you can do for basic hygiene from forage plants. Like, you can find that information. I've seen people, getting certain types of tree.
I think it's juniper.
Yeah, juniper for, like, brushing teeth. So there's natural options probably that you can find at least something for while you're out there. So, and then I've definitely done the smoke fires before camping, where you just kind of let the smoke of the fire clean you off. But if you have like the special, I forget, you add different ingredients to it and it gives you a nice different smoky smell.
Okay.
So you don't stink of BO as much, more like a campfire.
Again, you're by yourself, so who cares?
Right. Either way, you're going to stink so much that if there's an animal in the area, they're going to smell you no matter what. Yeah. So, anyway, that was it. No real hygiene for me. And then the next category is hunting. And they do give you some good options here. They give you you can get a fishing line. You can get a recurve or long bow with arrows, plus a quiver or attachment for holding arrows. A gill net. A slingshot with ball bearings, which, okay, I get it. Foraging bag. Some trapping snare wire. Oh, crap, I didn't see that.
You're going to have to take something else off.
Oh, no.
I had a real hard time going between the fishing line and the snare wire, and I was trying to decide which could I use as the other. So I ended up putting fishing wire down because there was more of it, and I could make a gill net and possibly use it as snare wire. So I went with the fishing line. There's a 300-yard roll.
And that comes with
up
barbless
to 20
hooks.
pounds max weight.
Yep, it comes with hooks too. That's a good choice. That is a good choice. That has the most usage, I think.
You can cover it in your face.
Oh, yeah. I chose the recurve bow.
I also had the recurve bow.
Yeah, we're
archers.
We're archers. We're good marksmen. We're fairly good at that. We've shot some videos of it actually that we have sitting around. Yeah, we never posted them. But we've shot a lot of recurve archery and we're pretty good. And I think I could hit an animal if I needed to, and get some small game or maybe large game. I mean, some of the animals they've killed is like a moose. Like I'm pretty sure they killed bear.
Mm-hmm. They get some big games sometimes.
With a regular recurve bow, it's possible, and I'd feel a lot more comfortable having that, I think. I see. So I had chosen a gill net, but the benefit that I see to that is not having to make your own gill net from the fishing line. But the fishing line does have more uses than that. I've never done snaring, and I don't really know the best methods for it. I could practice and make some snares. I feel like you could figure out a way to snare something without necessarily having snare wire. You might be able to get something else that works, or salvage it from something else. So I'll stick with that. The recurve bow and the gill net. The gill net, if you get a good spot to get into the water with that net, I've seen there's been contestants that are getting like a couple fish all at one day, and like.
But if you don't, then you've got this gill net.
Well, then you start using the gill net for other things.
Okay.
It's it's a resource.
Yeah.
All right. Then they have a food section where basically it's mostly just 2 pounds of varying items.
That was another thing that I had that got narrowed out. So I no longer have food on my list.
Me neither.
The one that I had that got crossed off was the lentils. There's like dried beans and stuff in there.
Yeah. Starch and carbs.
Yeah,
mix.
dried pulses, legumes, and lentils mix.
Yep.
I thought that would be a nice something. But
see,
I crossed off.
I was thinking the 2 pounds of pemmican, which is like a fatty trail mix type of food. Which is, the fattiness is the stuff that you're looking for so that you can stay there and not lose too much weight when the temperature gets really cold. But in the end, I didn't end up taking any food because I was confident that I could figure something out. But when they start there...
You had no food, but you had toothpaste. I know you crossed off the toothpaste. I crossed toothpaste for the paracord, but still.
I had a reason for toothpaste, but I don't remember now why I had that on there. Anyway, moving on. No food. Last section is tools, and it's basically a number of different tools that can be used for all sorts of things. Shovels, different kinds of...
all of them.
All kinds of knife, like a pocket knife, a Leatherman, shovel, sewing kit, flashlight. Flashlight. I didn't think about that.
I thought about it, and that was another one. That was like 11th on the list.
That's a tough one. A hatchet, a saw, an axe. So I chose... Did you need your list?
It's fine. I dropped my list, but I know what's on it.
I chose an axe.
Okay.
Because you're going to be chopping a lot of trees down for shelter, for wood, for whatever you might need. If you are there long enough for ice fishing to be a possibility, the axe is really one of the only ways to get through the ice, because you have to chisel through, like you have to really swing and chop away at it to get into the ice that's that thick.
So I had hatchet because I didn't think I would be super accurate with an axe.
Okay.
But you make interesting points with axes.
You can do it with a hatchet, but it might take more.
Yeah. Because
the extra length of the arm gives you that much extra power to chip away at it. So that's what I went with. Plus, I like swinging axes at trees.
See, I don't. But I imagine if I were out in there in the Arctic, I would put forth more effort into knowing how to work an axe. Right.
I mean, we'll finish our list, and then maybe we can talk about what type of shelter we'd want to build. The other item, my last item on the list, this is my 10th item, was a Leatherman multi-tool.
I had the multi-tool as well.
If I'm sure you've seen these multi-tools before. They're great. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It's got pliers built into it as the main thing, with different knives and bottle openers and other things. You can use that for everything. You can use that for whittling away at stuff if you want to do little stuff.
Right. I needed some kind of smaller knife because I had this vision of it's all pretend for me. But whittling the spoon or the cup or whittling the other tiny little convenience-y tools that you would want. Right. With all the time we've got.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That is one thing you are not short on when you're out there. Is you have all the time in the world to figure out what you can do.
You have to build your shelter and catch your food, and there's stuff to do.
Oh yeah. It's just you're out there in the wilderness. You don't have to think about the job and everything else. Your job is now just survive.
True.
So it's a different mindset, I guess. Anywho, that's my 10. Did you have any more?
I had one more. I had a sewing kit.
Oh.
Because that is something that I do at home all the time. And if I've got the tarp and a sewing kit, I could create the food. Was there a bag that they had as an option?
Yes, foraging bag.
Foraging bag, or somewhere to keep my whatever food I catch. Mm-hmm. So if I had a sewing kit, I could create other things that I needed.
Mm-hmm. See, if I wanted to make something like that, I have done a little bit of basket weaving that I might be able to figure out something for that. Mm-hmm. But, okay, so that's our list. Do we want to go into any more, or do we want to wrap it up and say that's our alone list?
I think that's our alone list.
We could always talk about what our plan for a shelter would be. We could break it down. All right. Well, that's it.
I prepared that list. I did not prepare a conversation about shelters.
Okay. That is our alone list. So, want to participate in the conversation, go look at our Instagram or the History Channel website and find the list and pick your top 10 items and comment them below.
Sure.
We'll read them, maybe. We'll talk about them. We'll definitely read them. And that's it. Thanks for watching. It was a pleasure to shoot another video.
It's back.
Yes.
Yay.
Bye-bye.